I'm so excited.
Well, hi everybody. Welcome to the lounge. Today I have a question for you. What is worth living for? Jack Wyrtzen found something worth dying for, and that was to see others come to a saving knowledge of Jesus Christ. I'd like to share with you how an ordinary man got a passion for the lost and how God used him to reach thousands. Jack Wyrtzen was an ordinary man. His parents were from a Unitarian church, and as he grew up, he would attend Boy Scouts. And in an interview with Bob Schuster from the Billy Graham Center, Jack Wyrtzen grew up in a very poor family. When he was a senior, he dropped out of high school to pursue a career as a musician. When he was 18, he joined the 101st Cavalry Band. He would go to the National Guard camp for a couple weeks a year, and on the off time he would work in an insurance agency. Jack Wyrtzen wanted to be a good person, but he could never do it until one day he had a heart change. This year, when he went back to the National Guard, his wild friend, who would climb flagpoles, was now reading the Bible. When Jack saw the difference Scripture made in his friend, he had to know more. In the book, The House That God Built, Jack explains how, even though he was religious, he realized he was still a sinner and that he needed Jesus Christ. That's when Jack decided to put his trust in Jesus Christ. Jack Wyrtzen was used by God. He started off with just a small Bible group, which later became Word of Life. This tight group of men would pray together, would admonish each other in their teaching, and realized that the churches around them weren't preaching the gospel. So they started to search for a way that they could make an impact. They found a church nearby where they asked some deacons in a room that was filled with smoke if they could use their church. They agreed, but only gave them 3 months. In that 3 months, they started off, each one of the 5 guys in this small group only had 1 sermon each. So within a short amount of time, they realized, hey, we need to get some other guys who know how to preach. In that 3 months, they ended up packing the place out with 625 people. And then they had to move to the street, where they would street evangelize and have street rallies. Eventually, they had so many people in the street that a police officer took Jack Wyrtzen to a judge, and in his conversation with the judge asked him, what are you doing? And it turned into a long conversation, and the judge turned around and told the police officer, go back down to the street, block off the street, and let this man tell the people the gospel, because this people needed it. So eventually he started to go on the radio and broadcast the radio, and then soon decided to rent Carnegie Hall, where in a matter of no time he had the place packed with 3,000 people inside and 3,000 people outside. So at that point he decided to go ahead and rent Madison Square Garden, which was a whole nother miracle in itself. He ended up packing it with 20,000 people inside and even more than 10,000 people outside. So Jack ended up going around the world and reaching untold numbers with the gospel of Jesus Christ. Today, we have Bible institutes, Bible clubs in over 51 countries. So this ordinary man was inspired many people who are still serving God today. Jack found something worth dying for, to share the gospel with as many people as he could. If it's worth dying for, who could discourage him for living for it? Jack had a vision to see people come to a saving knowledge of Jesus Christ. And this begs me to ask the question, are you living for something worth dying for? Well, thanks for listening, and enjoy the rest of your evening.